The Anthropocene Reviewed. Finally, I can't tell you how excited I was to pick up a copy of this book and dive right back into the mind of John Green. I'll be the first to admit that there was a time where I thought that Mr. Green was an overrated author, and I apologize. I don't know what I was thinking. That was a far more naive version of myself. And Mr. Green, if you're watching this or if you ever do watch this, I apologize. I was wrong. I'm BL Zen, and this is my review of The Anthropocene Reviewed in 6 minutes or less. The Anthropocene Reviewed was published by Dutton Penguin on May 18th, 2021. It's John Green's first nonfiction book and his 6th solo publication. The book itself is a collection of essays on the ideas, people, goods, and moments in our human-centered planet. But to leave the summary at just that would be sinful. I think different people will have different answers for you when you ask them what this book meant to them and what it was about. To me, it's about little things that have great significance and big ideas that many of us have yet to wrap our heads around. But it's also a commentary on mental illness, the meaning of life, and the power that we have as humans, as a species. But in all honesty, this book, in my opinion, is for anybody that wishes to come away with a message or experience as to what it's like to be human. I would argue that Mr. Green himself is a character within the book. He is our tour guide, showing us around various instances in his life, which in his own words brush up against the forces shaping contemporary human life. Experiences. I apologize. Human experiences. The Anthropocene itself, I would say, is a character in which we explore, hence the name. But, have you ever been to one of those like huge IMAX theaters? Most of them are in museums where you all sit in this big arena. They show you on this big screen a documentary about nature or some other aspect of life as a human. That's what this book kind of is. That's the experience that I personally had writing this book. It may be a bit more profound and a bit more eye-opening. I can't make a deep reason for having a plot review within this video review about a book that reviews these huge topics. There are plenty of stories from Mr. Green's own life and various essays, such as in his review of The Biggest Ball of Paint, which he offers up a possible answer to the question that many of us with depression and those with nihilistic viewpoints, it kind of burrows in our minds, and that question is, what does it all mean and what is the point of anything? And like I said, within the story about the world's largest ball of paint, Mr. Green offers up an answer, and it is, in my opinion, a good one. If you're a fan of the YouTube channel Vlogbrothers, or if you've listened to the podcast on which this book is based, you will read this book in John Green's voice. I promise you that. It's obviously for the audiobook you will, but you will read this book in John Green's voice. It was almost haunting how much it sounded like him. I mean, he's the author, so of course it's gonna sound like him, but it's just, you'll understand if you read this and you've heard his voice before, if you've heard him speak before. It's almost as if you're sitting like in a chair, knee to knee with him. Well, okay, 6 feet separation. If you're sitting in a chair with 6 feet separation from him, and he's telling you all of this, telling you all of the stories from his life, and explaining what all of these ideas within his essays mean. Well, that was the voice. Let's talk about the language. Normally in creative writing, aspiring writers like myself are instructed to eliminate and eradicate all adverbs, or at least most adverbs, and simplify our language so that our message that we're trying to convey is heard. I think in this book especially, John Green stands proudly as the antithesis of that. You see what I did there? There will probably be words in this book that you have to look up, but that's part of what makes reading, I think, an enjoyable experience as a whole, and reading this book was such an enjoyable experience as a whole. But the word ubiquitous is a common presence throughout this book, and I had to look up what it means, but it means essentially everywhere, which is a great word to have as sort of the symbol of this book. The Anthropocene Reviewed has lessons within it that I think all of us would do good to learn, especially the limits and our own strength as a species of humans. We have the power to do incredible things and devastating things in this world, and that, I think, is the primary theme of The Anthropocene Reviewed. I've read almost 60 books in 2021, and I think not a single one of them resonated with me as much as The Anthropocene Reviewed did. I came away feeling enlightened is the word. I came away feeling enlightened. My eyes were opened, and the experience as a whole was one that I probably will not forget for a very long time. And when I come close to even coming close to forgetting, I think I'm going to pick up this book again and read it. With that said, it's not something you can read when you're trying to get yourself to sleep, when you're at a picnic or during lunch or anything of that sort. I think this is a book that you should probably pay attention to. It's a book that you should experience and read slowly and really ingest all of the information and all of the ideas that Mr. Green presents in The Anthropocene Reviewed. I give it 5 stars out of 5. I would like to remind you guys that I mess up so many times in this one. This review is a product of my own thoughts and my own opinions, and it's not solid fact. Yada yada, you know the drill. But please consider hitting the subscribe button if you enjoyed what you see today. Please stay tuned for more. This is the first of what I think is going to be a very long series. And I hope you enjoyed it a lot. I apologize for any missteps or misspeaks that you might have heard during this. I'm new at this, but this is a brand new idea that I had that I think I can carry for a while, and I really enjoyed constructing it. So please, if you have any constructive criticism or any thoughts about this review or the book as a whole, please leave your comments down below. Subscribe if you enjoyed it, like if you enjoyed it. I appreciate you guys watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.